Hey everyone, and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling. So it took me a while to actually compile this whole list of cards here, but here we are finally. So today we'll be taking a look at core and staple cards that you should need to have if you're trying to farm for monster mats in this game. So those who are not familiar, there are particular monsters in this game which are mainly ace monsters of anime characters who have their respective game mats, and to get these game mats you need to actually summon a particular monster 100 times to get the game mats. Sometimes you can get these mats like naturally, you know, just by playing a particular deck where that particular monster appears, and then just play the game normally, summon that monster 100 times normally, and then you get the mat, you know, and there you are. But sometimes there are these quirky monsters which are really hard to summon, and there you need to have a particular strategy to actually summon them as many times as you can. So normally, you know, you would not use these monsters in viable decks. So for these situations you need to compile a special deck to get the mat faster. So yeah, consider these cards which are listed here kind of like your small little personal toolbox, which should be at your disposal at all times if you are going after these mats. And considering, you know, I stopped making these videos where I'm kind of taking a look at these monsters who have mats, and then I'm kind of trying to figure out a particular deck to summon that particular monster as fast as possible. So considering I'm not doing these videos anymore, I just decided to make a list of these core and staple essential cards that you should need if you are going after these mats. So the first card here on the list is the Creator, a really nice card. So once per turn you can target one monster in your graveyard, send one card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon that target. Sometimes that's all you need for some monsters, because some monsters in this game, you know, you just need to summon them. It doesn't matter what is the way how you summon them. Either it's flip summon or just normal summon. Mainly these monsters are kind of like tribute summon monsters, and for tribute summon monsters every summoning method works towards the mat. So yeah, sometimes the Creator is everything that you need. So next here we have Sauropod Brachian. I haven't been playing around with this card too much, but also sometimes that's all you need for particular monsters. Sometimes just flip summoning them works. And yeah, Sauropod Brachian works wonders. It works wonders really well if, for example, you have Sauropod Brachian which is given to your opponent, and your own field is just filled, you know, all your free monster spaces are just filled with these needed monsters. So what happens each and every turn that Sauropod Brachian activates its effect, well, opponent activates its effect, and then you can get free flip summons of your monsters each and every turn. So yeah, this particular method is super fast, but you know, it's not working against with every monsters. So okay, so next card here is Ill Blood. Works in a similar fashion like the Creator, but still I have no idea which is the better method to summon monsters, either Ill Blood method or the Creator. So yeah, sometimes I'm kinda switching between the two, but still have no idea which is the best one. So okay, next one here is the Creator Incarnate. The only reason why this card is here so that you can summon your the Creator much more easier, and that's pretty much it. It's not essential, but yeah, this card can come in handy if you're using the Creator method. So Okay, next here on this list is a Guardian Statue. A really nice card to bounce your own monsters back to your hand or your extra deck, which also works. And then in the next turn you can summon these monsters again. So yeah, you have no idea how many times I used Guardian Statue, and you have no idea how many times it came in handy. And of course, Guardian Statue you'll be giving to your opponent so that your opponent can activate its effect each and every turn to bounce your monsters. So yeah, I'm not going into too much details in this video, but because we have a lot of cards here, let's be honest. So, and you know, I think in the future this list will decrease in size simply because as the game evolves, as the game progresses, you know, more cards are added, and sometimes these options which you see here, they probably will be replaced with some better and viable options so in the future. But for now, you know, this is the list that I have been using extensively throughout the game, and I have been playing this game from its inception, so yeah. So next here on this list is a Mist Valley Shaman. It's basically like an inverse Guardian Statue. So here you are not actually relying on your opponent, but you are actually bouncing these monsters back to your hand in your own way. So basically, yeah, Mist Valley Shaman is a really nice card. So basically, you're bouncing these monsters back to your hand by yourself by using this card. So next here on this list is Golden Ladybug. This card is here just because of recycle, which we'll be taking a closer look here a bit later. So basically, the only purpose of this card to give you enough life points so that you could actually activate Recycle's effect. So next here is Cockroach Knight. So it kind of fulfills two purposes. One is your anti-deckout purpose, because if it's sent to the graveyard, it's returned to the top of your deck, so you're not basically decking out. And the other purpose is that there are some monsters here, like for example the Creator, which require you to activate their effects. So basically these monsters, they require you to discard one card, so that's why Cockroach Knight is really good to fulfill that purpose. So next here is a Gold Sarcophagus, not really needed simply because it's kind of like a not free-to-play card, let's be honest here. But you know, if you have it, I advise you to include it in these mod farming decks, simply because it gets your key pieces to your hand much more faster. So we have a similar card here, which I'll take a closer look a bit later, but the only reason why this card is here simply because it's really good and it's not clogging your field. So next here is a Diffusion, really good in those decks that require you to summon fusion monsters 100 times. So next here is Zombie World. The only reason why this card is here is simply because of Ill Blood. So basically, if you are using Ill Blood, you are definitely using Zombie World as well there. So next, Fusion Recycling Plant, also for fusion monsters. So next, Mystic Box. So the main purpose of Mystic Box is to give Guardian Statue to your opponent. That's why this card is here. Next, Polymerization, once again for fusion monsters. Next one is the Synchro for Synchro monsters. It's basically like a Diffusion only for Synchros. So, and you know, currently this card is limited to one, which kind of makes things a bit suckier in regards to farming for these Synchro monster mats. So next is Different Dimension Capsule. So this is the card that I was talking about when I was talking about Gold Sarcophagus. So basically, this is basically Golden Sarcophagus, only the thing is about this particular card that this actually stays on the field, where Gold Sarcophagus does not stay on the field. So sometimes it can be a bit sucky, you know, when your field is kind of clogged. So, but this is a really nice free-to-play option to get your key pieces to your hand much more quicker. So, next is the ultimate anti-deckout option, the Mask of Remnants. Really nice card. So you basically use it each and every turn when you're out of cards, and this card is just returned to your deck, and yeah, that's how you are not decking out. Not always used, simply because, like for example, you know, Cockroach Knight kinda serves the same purpose, but it depends on the deck, really. Sometimes, you know, you are not using Cockroach Knight, you're not using the Creator, so there, and the Mask of Remnants is really handy. So, and next is Try Right. Really good card to recycle with your recycle card. So, and then just each and every turn bring the needed monsters to your field from your graveyard, and then use these monsters each and every turn to summon your respective monster. So here's Recycle itself, really good for recycling your key, mainly spell cards. So yeah, but here's the deal, you have to pay 300 life points to use it. So normally what happens with Recycle, that you are using Recycle together with your either Golden Ladybug or Solemn Wishes. So, and next here is Guardian Treasure, a very risky card to use, but you know, there's a really big payoff. So basically you have to discard 5 cards to draw 2 cards each and every turn. So sometimes you need to kinda play... you have to basically think much more strategically, you know, how you are using your cards, and you need to kind of take a closer look at how much cards you have in your deck, so that you accidentally do not deck out. so yeah, sometimes you have to be really careful with Guarded Treasure, and mainly Guarded Treasure. What I noticed, that I am mainly using it if I am going after either Fusion Monster mats or Synchro Monster mats. So, okay, next one is Ascending Soul, which is used in decks where we are utilizing our ritual summons. Only there, nowhere else. So, next is the Transmigration Prophecy. It's basically like Recycle, only not used often and all. I'm still thinking about this one, because sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have no idea, is either the Transmigration Prophecy better than Recycle, or is the other way around. So for now, you know, I'm using both, but yeah, the Transmigration Prophecy is really good. I'm mainly using it for Synchro summons, actually, simply because the Synchro is limited to 1 currently. So yeah, and what you need to do, you need to basically transmigrate with this card both 1 copy of itself, which is in the graveyard, and also the Synchro. And of course, in that particular deck, you're using your Guarded Treasure as well. So what happens is that each and every turn you are drawing 2 cards via Guarded Treasure. So one of these cards is Transmigration Prophecy, and the other one is the Synchro. And then, you know, you are kind of using this Transmigration Prophecy to recycle the other copy of Transmigration Prophecy and your Desynchro. And basically this whole loop continues that way. So, okay, next is DNA Transplant. Really handy cards sometimes, mainly for Synchros and Xyz monsters. So yeah, you declare 1 monster attribute and all face-up monsters become that attribute. So that comes in really handy, because sometimes there are some Synchro monsters and Xyz monsters which require you to have their materials be of a particular attribute. So either materials or, well, yeah, either Xyz materials or synchro materials, basically. So next card on this list is Legacy of Yategarasu for an additional drawing power. Really nice card to have in these mat farming decks. So next is DNA Surgery. It kinda gets the same treatment like DNA Transplant. Basically fulfills the same purpose because sometimes there are these monsters, especially Synchros and Xyz monsters, where their materials need to be of a particular monster type, and with DNA Surgery you can get the type that you need, you know. So next here is Solemn Wishes. So it basically acts the same way like a Golden Ladybug. The only problem with Solemn Wishes is that you see it's a mandatory effect. So basically, if each time you draw a card, you are getting these 500 life points, and also it clogs your field. So sometimes Solemn Wishes is not very viable options to go. Sometimes you can just replace Solemn Wishes with Golden Ladybug. But you know, I use both cards from time to time, so it basically depends on the deck where you want to use each card. So next here is Jar of Greed. Has the same purpose as Legacy of Yategarasu, basically, for that additional drawing power. So next here is Backs to the Wall. So I only use this card if I'm going after mats where I need to summon an particular Xyz monster 100 times. So this card works wonders there. I was thinking a lot actually about Xyz summoning because it's a new summoning method, and you know, still people are kinda currently experimenting which is the best method to Xyz summon. And so far, I think Backs to the Wall works really great. It works really great for Xyz monsters that require only 2 materials. It works great for Xyz monsters that require 3 materials. So yeah, and you know, 6 Sams, they are pretty flexible cards in regards to their attributes, in regards to their names, because you know this card requires you to special summon your 6 Sams from your graveyard, which are of different names, each one of them. And yeah, it's really a good card to include in your mat farming deck that requires you to summon your needed Xyz monster. And also 6 Sams, they are pretty flexible, you know, in regards to their levels. So yeah, Backs to the Wall works great. And you know, because this card sets your life points to 100, you actually need to run it together with your either Golden Ladybug or Solemn Wishes. And also, yeah, recycle. So basically you are recycling your 2 Backs to the Wall with it. So okay, next here is the golden combination of Graceful Tear and Luckless Tornado. So basically you're giving your opponent via Graceful Tear Luckless Tornado, your opponent uses Luckless Tornado, and he's not basically taking out that way. And also don't forget that Graceful Tear gives you 2000 life points, so that's also something to think about, especially where you are using your recycle. So sometimes, you know, these life points can come in handy as well. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, actually, almost. We have some more cards which are not included here. So I'll mention some cards which are not included here, which I used before, but recently I noticed that I'm not using them too much anymore. So they are kind of like, you know, falling out of favor. So maybe you're, you know, wondering why your opponent should not deck out, you know, because I was talking about Graceful Tear and Luckless Tornado, and why you should not deck out. Well, you see, the max number of turns in Duel Links is 50. So during these 50 turns, you need to maximize all your summons, you need to maximize all these turns, basically, you know. That's why it's important to not let yourself deck out while you are farming, and to not let your opponent deck out as well. Otherwise, what would happen is that, well, you would have to duel multiple times, so to achieve, you know, your goal to get your mat. But even though, you know, you are not decking out and your opponent is not decking out, keep in mind that there's still maximum turn count, so yeah, in most of these cases you will not be getting your needed mat in one duel, no. I think the least duels that you would have is maybe 3 or 4 duels if you are, you know, maximizing all the turns and whatnot, if everything goes well in these duels. So you will definitely not be getting your needed mat in only one duel. No, that's that's just impossible. So, but you know, if we did not have these anti-deck out options, then that would take even more duels. So yeah. But yeah, let's take a closer look at the cards that I was mentioning to you, which are kind of falling out of favor. So I have here this favorites tab, so I included these cards here. So the first one is the Unfriendly Amazon, and yeah, at the very beginning, when Duel Links just came out, I was actually using a strategy together with the creator and the Unfriendly Amazon, where I would summon the needed master each and every time, each and every turn, with creator's effect, okay, from the graveyard. So that monster would be summoned, and then the Unfriendly Amazon would swallow that monster, because, you know, for her to be on the field, you need to sacrifice one monster each and every turn. And that was basically my strategy. But you know, at the beginning, we had these kind of like easy to summon monsters, so that strategy was kind of like viable there. You know, these monsters which require tributes, for example. So there it doesn't matter which summoning method you use, so sometimes that's all you needed to do. You just needed to set your creator on the field, your Unfriendly Amazon, and that's it. That's all you needed. Now we are in Xyz era, so now summoning is much more harder, basically. Okay, next card here is Shard of Greed. It gives you 2 cards, but you have to wait until that happens, and it also clogs your field. So I was using this card before when I did not have access to other viable drawing more options, you know. But you know, if you still do not have these drawing more options, then yeah, I advise you to place a Shard of Greed in these decks if you have it. So it's still a viable card, it's just that, you know, other drawing more cards kinda are better. So okay, next here is Wonder Balloons. Also was used extensively before, now not so much. So basically what you do with Wonder Balloons, you can use it to either decrease opponent's monster's attack power, so you do not die while you're drawing into your key pieces, you know. And it's also useful sometimes to dump your key pieces, or, you know, your key monster that you are farming the mat for, to the graveyard, so that you can just summon it much more easier later, either via creator or Illbled, you know, to the field from the graveyard. So, but I noticed nowadays I'm actually not using Wonder Balloons too much, simply because I'm more relying on these draw sense skills. So, you know, I just need my opponent to smash my face so that I can activate the skill, and then I can draw the needed key piece, and then I can just place it on the board, which just acts as my wall. So yeah. Next here is a Good Goblin Housekeeping. This is also a draw more card. Really good one, but you know what? Kinda I do not like about it is that you have to make some math when you are using it, and sometimes that can kinda screw you over. So, but you know, if you do not have other drawing options, then consider this option. So, okay, next one is a Magical Mallet, also a card that I was using before a lot, now not so much, simply because I have access to all these drawing more cards, which are basically replacing Magical Mallet. So before, I was having a hard time to get my needed key pieces to my hand much more faster, so I was using actually Magical Mallet, you know, which basically acts like a restart skill, pretty much. So now I do not use it, simply because, you know, it's kind of like luck dependent, and there is no guarantee that you will replace the cards in your hand with the needed ones. So, okay, next card is sort of deep-seated. It's basically Cockroach Knight, only spell version, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes actually Cockroach Knight can conflict with your Draw Sense skills. Like, for example, if you're using Draw Sense Earth, you know. But I don't know, still I see myself using actually Cockroach Knight more than sort of deep-seated, and I don't know why. So, but you know, in these cases where you actually need Draw Sense Earth 100%, then of course you would replace Cockroach Knight with this card. So, next here is Musto, Oracle of Gusto. This card I was using before a lot in these decks that require you to summon synchro monsters. Now I'm not using it too much, actually. Now I'm using more a different strategy, which involves desynchro, guarded treasure, stuff like that. So, but before that strategy, I was using actually Musto a lot. So, okay, and the final card, which is falling out of favor in these med farming decks. Well, I'm speaking about myself, you know. I don't know, maybe other people are still using these cards, but I'm speaking for myself here. So, yeah, it's gonna go. Now we have a better option. We have this Sauropod Brachion, which basically does the same thing. But before that, I was using Ganago, actually. But here's the thing with Ganago, you have to manually ram into it in order for your monster to be flipped face down. And, you know, to not destroy Ganago, there were a lot of different shenanigans involved how to do that, so yeah, it's basically not worth it nowadays. Like, seriously, just play Sauropod Brachion instead and use that other strategy, which involves that card. So yeah. So yeah, Ganago is pretty sucky now. So, and that's it. So there are, of course, some other cards which are useful if you're speaking about mat farming decks, but these ones that I covered today here, these are the ones that I used the most, actually. So, and yeah, hopefully you'll find this video useful. Hopefully you'll find this mat farming toolbox really handy. So yeah, if you are really interested in getting the needed mats, well, then just do not forget this video, okay? It can come in really handy for you, I hope. So, but yeah, this is it. This will be it for today. I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. And yeah, remember that this is the list of cards which is handy as of now, you know, currently, today, at this moment when this video is uploaded. In the future, of course, even more cards will be released, and maybe some cards will be really good for mat farming, that they will actually replace some of these options which you see here. So yeah, keep that in mind. So, but yeah, guys, this will be it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you all next time. So cheers.